Those were the days. All in the Family was centered around a working-class, opinionated man and his family. And to say it was groundbreaking is just the tip of the iceberg.
Those were the days.
In a nation barreling through the chaos of war, civil rights unrest, and the rise of feminism, how could it be possible that a 26-minute comedy breached these sensitive topics? And not in a subtle way either. From the get-go, we get Archie Bunker, an electrifying bigot, spouting his wildly crude thoughts about other races, religions, and political movements. Pretty much any sensitive topic. But the Bunker household also sported Gloria and Meathead, who had polar opposite viewpoints. So the living room arguments became essentially a microcosm of the current American society. We, the audience, actually learned a lot and laughed our butts off along the way. The show became quite possibly the most influential series of all time, and was ranked #1 on the yearly Nielsen ratings from 1971 until 76. I'm your host, Nostalgic Nick, and today we're heading back to Queens to revisit the Bunker clan. If you enjoy this cast rewind, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a beat. Alright, let's go make sure Meathead isn't sitting in Archie's chair. Carol O'Connor. Oh, Archie Bunker, the most lovable, ignorant, vocal bloke on air. But this assertively prejudiced patriot was a World War II veteran, simply struggling to adapt to the ever-changing world.
Well, no bum that can't speak perfect English ought to stay in this country ought to be de-exported the hell out of here.
And this was universally important and relatable. And much credit for the development of Archie goes to O'Connor himself, who pressed creator Norman Lear to not have Archie remain unfazed by the countless Meathead arguments or back and forths with the Jeffersons. Carol implored that Archie evolve along with the audience in a real-life manner, cause Carol also feared that many people weren't getting the nuance of Archie's progression, as his own personal views on political and social issues were actually very liberal. The opposite of Archie's. It was a cognitive approach that catapulted the Archie character into the record books. O'Connor's career began in 1960 with 2 episodes of Sunday Showcase. He'd continue with guest spots on TV throughout the 60s until his breakout Archie Bunker, for which he won 4 Emmy Awards. But Carol was also obtaining smaller roles in films, like 1963's epic Cleopatra, the John Wayne-led Pearl Harbor aftermath film In Harm's Way, to a more co-starring role in the Lee Marvin 1967 thriller Point Blank.
You're a very bad man, Walker.
After All in the Family, we continued Archie's tale. Who out there enjoyed Archie Bunker's place? If you did, you'd never forget that terribly sad episode where Edith died.
I had no right to leave me that way without giving me just one more chance to say I love you.
O'Connor later highlighted yet another wildly popular series, starring in the police drama In the Heat of the Night, for which he was also executive producer and a writer for. And we have an entire deep dive about that 80s crime-fighting cast, so check The Heat out next. Sadly, O'Connor's later life was plagued by tragedy, as his son Hugh O'Connor, who also appeared on In the Heat of the Night with Dad, committed suicide in 1995 after a battle with drug addiction. Carol used this tragedy to spark change, using the remainder of his life to advocate for drug and addiction awareness in PSAs, as well as successfully lobbying California to pass the Drug Dealer Liability Act in 1997. Carol's final acting appearance was in 2000's romantic comedy Return to Me, as he sadly died the following year at the age of 76. One thing is for certain, Carol O'Connor is among the television greats in more ways than one. Gene Stapleton. You can't not smile when you hear Edith Bunker's cheery, aloof, and happy-go-lucky demeanor. A bit ditzy, sure, but kind-hearted.
The minute I ain't finished.
Edith proves to be somewhat of a force too, when she sometimes takes a stand against Archie and his insults. But their unique marriage was strong, as above everything they loved each other deeply.
You know something, Archie? You're a pip.
Stapleton started on Broadway at 18 and rode stage gigs to the silver screen, recreating her musical part in Damn Yankees for the Tab Hunter film in 1958. In 67, she co-starred in the film Up the Down Staircase, and then she turned down Mrs. TV from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory to become Edith Bunker. Certainly a tough choice, but one that rewarded her with 3 Emmy and 2 Golden Globe victories. Jean did well after Edith departed Archie's place. She and Whoopi co-starred in 1990's Baghdad Cafe, based on the 1987 film. Then in one of her final gigs, Jean played Birdie Conrad in the Tom Hanks Meg Ryan rom-com You've Got Mail. Jean sadly died in 2013 at the age of 90, but from creating that iconic Edith Bunker voice to her incredible career, Jean Stapleton truly did it all. Rob Reiner. Michael was his name, but Meathead is more applicable. Dead from the neck up. The nickname spawned from Norman Lear's own father calling him that in arguments. Meathead was a kind-hearted hippie who often got into tiffs with Archie about everything from politics to PDA of his daughter at the kitchen table. He was a little pretentious and chauvinistic. Basically, Archie on the other side of the coin.
Arch, if there is a God, why is there so much unhappiness in this world?
Rob Reiner helms from a true comedic genius. Carl Reiner, the creator of The Dick Van Dyke Show, as well as a comedic actor with the best of them. Rob began landing TV guest spots in 1967, like 3 episodes of That Girl and 3 episodes of Gomer Pyle. That same time, he began his writing career with the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, where he and Steve Martin were the youngest 2 writers on the show and became writing partners. Rob would go on to direct to more success even than his charming acting and witty writing, beginning acting and directing in the outrageously funny This Is Spinal Tap, then directing incredible films like the coming-of-age classic Stand By Me, and the military courtroom drama A Few Good Men.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Today, he's 74 years old. Forever known as Meathead, Reiner even stated, quote, "I could win the Nobel Prize and they'd write, Meathead wins the Nobel Prize. Archie wouldn't have it any other way." Sally Struthers. Gloria is the free-spirited daughter of Archie and Edith, who marries Meathead. She has the gentle mannerisms of her mother and the stubbornness of her father.
There were 6 Oreo cookies in the refrigerator. I counted them. But this morning, they seem to have mysteriously disappeared.
Struthers' acting break was being cast opposite Jack Nicholson in 1970's 5 Easy Pieces. She also picked up a recurring gig on the Tim Conway Comedy Hour. In 1971, Sally went prehistoric, voicing Pebbles Flintstone in the animated spin-off The Pebbles and Bam Bam Show. Following her All in the Family success, she got her own chance to spin off with Gloria, but it was canceled after 1 season. We later saw her on the show 9 to 5 for 52 episodes, before she went back to voice work primarily, as a series lead in the Jungle Book spin-off Tailspin, and then voicing Charlene Sinclair in the great 90s Jim Henson conceived show Dinosaurs. Struthers is still acting today, but her last mainstay on TV was over 50 episodes of Gilmore Girls from 2000 until 2007. Struthers is 73 years old today, and is also a spokesperson for the Christian Children's Fund, also known as Child Fund, advocating on behalf of impoverished children in developing countries. Danielle Brisebois. Stephanie Mills is the adorable 9-year-old daughter of Edith's cousin Floyd, who becomes a regular on the show throughout the 9th season.
And the whole day long, I feel so blue.
In 1976, at age 7, Danielle was cast in the film The Premonition. She was also the tiniest orphan Molly in the original Broadway production of Annie. Brisebois continued her Stephanie Mills onto Archie's Place, even being nominated for a Golden Globe in 1982. Before she began concentrating on a music career, she was a member of the short-lived rock band New Radicals, who scored their greatest hit with 1998's You Get What You Give, and Danielle recorded 2 solo albums albums in the 2000s as well. She and her songwriting partner, Greg Alexander, were nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Song in 2015 for the film Begin Again. Today, Danielle is 52 and keeps fans updated through Instagram, so give her a follow. Mike Evans. Lionel was the first taste of the Jeffersons, and lucky that Norman Lear didn't get his first choice of Blazing Saddles Cleavon Little for the role. Evans was just a college student majoring in drama with no acting experience, when All in the Family producer and director John Rich hired him for Lionel. Mike left the Jeffersons after one season, but had a lot on his plate, being one of the creators and writers for the series Good Times. Sadly, Mike Evans died of cancer in 2006 at just 57 years old. All in the Family was truly a show that made history, plus a cast of characters so powerful they made a lasting impact on pop culture. It's no surprise the show spawned so many spin-offs. So let's talk. What is your favorite episode of this raucous comedy? Did you watch any of the spin-offs? And is All in the Family the best sitcom of all time? We want to know your thoughts, so get in the comments and let us know. As always, please give this episode a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a memory. From all of us here at Do You Remember, thanks very much for watching.